So today we're going to learn about the pancreas and how it monitors and manages our blood glucose levels. So we all have an acceptable blood glucose level, and if we go outside of those acceptable points, our pancreas will start releasing hormones to bring us back to our set point. So we're going to recap what we already know about the pancreas from our grade 11 biology unit on body systems. So first of all, it's found right here. It's tucked under the stomach, and it kind of looks like a bumpy organ. And we learned in grade 11 that the pancreas creates digestive enzymes that release into the small intestine to help break down our food and help us to be able to absorb the nutrients in our food. That was the exocrine portion of the pancreas. This year, we're going to be learning about the endocrine portion, and there's actually these little clusters of cells right here and over here that are called the islets of Langerhans, and they produce two different hormones. One of them that will raise our blood sugar levels, and one of them that will lower them. Those hormones that are produced get released not through a duct, but this time through our bloodstream. And that's why they're called hormones. When a gland is creating a product that gets sent through the bloodstream to act on its target tissue or organ, it's called an endocrine gland, and the secretion is called a hormone. So first we're going to learn about beta cells. Beta cells produce insulin, which is a hormone you've probably heard about before, especially if you've been talking about somebody who has diabetes. Beta cells release insulin when our blood glucose levels are higher than acceptable. Insulin's job is to cause cells to take in glucose for cellular metabolism, such as cellular respiration, which powers everything in our body, and it also causes our liver and our muscles to build glycogen, which, if you remember, is our animal storage polymer or polysaccharide, and its job is to be our glucose stores for times when we need energy to be released later. So as a result, this insulin release will cause our blood glucose levels to drop back to our acceptable value. Our next hormone is produced by alpha cells, which are also found on the islets of Langerhans. And alpha cells produce glucagon. So glucagon is released when our blood sugar levels have dropped below the acceptable values, and its role is to cause glycogen to be broken down. So glycogen is, remember, the animal storage polysaccharide, so it will start being broken down and releasing glucose back to the bloodstream. And as a result, our blood glucose levels will rise back to acceptable values. So now we're going to learn about what happens when our body can't control our blood sugar levels like it is supposed to. And that condition is known as diabetes. There are 3 different forms of diabetes. The first one is called type 1. The second one is called type 2. And the third one is called gestational diabetes. The thing that's similar between all 3 forms of diabetes is that the body is unable to maintain homeostasis or to create that negative feedback loop that's supposed to happen when our blood sugar levels go up. The response should be that we bring our blood sugar levels back down, but that's not happening when somebody has diabetes. So with type 1 diabetes, for some reason the beta cells degenerate, and normally it's because your own immune system is confused and actually attacks and destroys the beta cells, and the body stops making insulin at that point. So in order to survive, a person with type 1 diabetes must take insulin for the rest of their life to survive. Type 2 diabetes occurs when the body isn't making enough insulin than needed, or the cells have become insulin resistant for some reason. Type 2 diabetes is caused by a variety of different factors, such as lifestyle, diet, inactivity, and possibly even genetics. The way you treat type 2 diabetes is primarily through diet, exercise, decreasing your carbohydrate intake, and sometimes even medication will be used to balance those blood sugar levels. So the final form of diabetes is gestational diabetes, and this occurs in some pregnancies. The babies tend to be born with a higher birth weight because of the increased glucose that's flowing through the mother's bloodstream and then transporting to the baby. So the baby has more nutrients to grow. The mother will need to take insulin during her pregnancy to maintain a more normal blood glucose level. This form of diabetes goes away right after giving birth, but both the mother and the baby are at an increased risk of developing diabetes later in life.